So, good morning to all those here in the center, and to all those watching on stream. All are welcome and good morning. So I'd like you to join with me in consciousness as I share the words of Ernest Holmes, founder of Science of Mind. Today, I uncover the perfection within me. In its fullness, I reveal the indwelling kingdom. I look out upon the world of my affairs, knowing that the Spirit within me makes my way both immediate and easy. I know there is nothing in me that could possibly obstruct or withhold the divine circuit of life and love which good is. My word dissolves every negative thought or impulse that could throw a shadow over my perfection. Good flows through me to all. Good shines through my thoughts and actions. Good harmonizes my body so that it is revitalized and manifests perfection in every cell, in every organ, in every function. Good harmonizes my mind so that love sings joyously in my heart. I am completely conscious of all good in me, around me, and in all that is. I am complete unity with good. I not only know what the law is, I know how to use it. I know that I shall obtain definite results through the use of the law. I realize that doubts about my ability to use this law are things of thought, and what thought has produced, thought can change. Knowing this, having confidence in my ability to use the law and using it daily for specific purposes, gradually I build up an unshakable faith both in the law and in the possibility of demonstrating it. There is no doubt in me, no uncertainty rising through me. My mind rejoices in certainty and in assurance. I confidently expect that my word shall not return unto me void. Therefore, today I declare that the law of the Lord is perfect in everything I do. I will externalize happiness. It will bring every good thing to me. Today, I am inwardly aware that there is a secret way of the soul. There is a secret pathway of peace. There is an invisible presence forever externalizing itself for me and through me. Today, I believe that underneath are the everlasting arms. Today, I rest in this divine assurance and this divine security. I know not only that all is well with my soul, my spirit, and my mind, all is well with my affairs. I give thanks for my spark of life, for my consciousness, and my awareness of this life. I am so grateful for this teaching, this center, and this spiritual community. This is the truth of my word. I release it into the creative medium, the law, knowing that it is already so, as I say, and so it is. Well, thank you very much for going into consciousness with me and centering ourselves in this sanctuary, this spiritual community. They say that the Wednesday morning service here at the Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living is the midweek pick-me-up. Well, I don't know what effect my message is going to have on you, but I know that it was definitely a pick-me-up for me. As I thought about my topic, I researched it, I wrote it, it energized me. So my message for today is mindful or mindful, is there a meaningful difference? Let me go a little slower on that, because maybe you didn't catch it. Mindful, 2 words, or mindful, 1 word. Is that a nuance or a meaningful difference? Now, it always intrigues me how the topics come into my mind. So I'd like to share with you the process of how this particular topic showed up. I am a licensed attorney, and therefore I have to take continuing legal education classes. It's a 3-year period, 25 hours. My deadline is January 31st of this year, so I started in December. Yes, I do tend to procrastinate a little bit. Now, when you take these continuing legal education classes, they're not all what I call hardcore legal topics. The state bar assigns out of these 25 hours, 4 hours has to be in ethics, 2 hours has to be in prohibiting bias in the workplace, and 1 hour has to deal with substance abuse. Now, the topic on ethics is not how to avoid it, but how you have to follow the ethical rules of being an attorney. So, you take these online courses, and I do it at work, got the computer going, and I signed up for this class in substance abuse disorders and the ethical effects on your law practice. 2 hours, put in the earphones. I have other things to do. But see, they're pretty clever. They have passwords embedded in the program. So every so often, a password shows up, and you got to write it down to prove that you were listening. Well, what it proves is that you stayed awake to at least see the password. So I was somewhat listening to the course when all of a sudden I'm hearing there's 2 women attorneys who are teaching the course, one older, one younger. They both have just outstanding, not only academic, but attorney credentials. They are very good attorneys. But they both had alcohol problems in the past, and that's why they were teaching this course on substance abuse and ethics in the law practice. When all of a sudden, I hear through my earphones, conscious breathing, non-judgmental. I'm going, what? Wait, what's going on here? This younger attorney is into a meditation. I go, oh, okay, this I haven't really heard in a continuing legal education class, but she's going through it, and I'm going, okay. Now she suddenly mentions the third eye. I go, well, this is unbelievable. Now, I'm no expert in chakras or third eyes or anything else, so needless to say, I put it on pause, and I go, I better look this up. The third eye chakra, also known as ajna, is considered to be the 6th chakra in the body. The chakra is said to be located in the center of your head, parallel to the middle of your eyebrow, believed to be linked to perception, awareness, and spiritual communication. Well, I almost fell off my chair. I go, okay, you now have my attention. When suddenly what appears on the screen, mindful, 2 words, or mindful, 1 word. And I go, okay, I have my topic. Now, I'm not an expert in meditation. For me, meditation is a prelude to sleep. But I kind of like this concept of mindfulness. It is interesting. But let's take a look first at mindful, 2 words. Then we'll take a look at some examples of that. Then we'll take a look at mindful, 1 word, and see what that's all about, and maybe talk about some examples, and maybe we'll even throw in some science of mind just for the fun of it. Now, getting back to mindful. So, if you look at mindful, this is a concept that goes back a couple of thousands of years to Buddha. So, from the article, How to Train Your Monkey Mind concept was first taught over 2,000 years ago by the Buddha. He described the human mind as being full of drunken monkeys, constantly screeching, fighting, chattering, distracting, and generally creating mental chaos. Now, maybe we've experienced that. Maybe we haven't. But sometimes there's a lot of chatter going on in our minds. That's kind of like a general description of the monkey mind. Thich Nhat Hanh, he was a Buddhist monk. He's passed away, but he's written a number of books. But he wrote an article entitled, The Practice of Mindfulness. And he says, their mind is caught in their worries, their fears, their anger, and their regrets, and they are not mindful of being there. Now, science of mind will say, yeah, we have negative thoughts. We're not a teaching of denial, but we just let them go. They're not going to manifest unless we are dwelling on them and we become mired into those negative thoughts. So I said to myself, well, that seems pretty reasonable, but what does science have to say about negative thoughts? So from this article from Online Therapy, How to Stop Negative Thoughts That Cause Anxiety. We have tens of thousands of thoughts a day. And according to one study, 80% of them are negative. They are often habitual and automatic. So, how are often habitual and automatic? How we feel influences the way we think. When we're down, we tend to think more negatively. And when anxious, we tend to worry about the worst thing happening. You see this in some people. It's called catastrophizing or awfulizing. Something happens and they project into the future, what's the worst thing that can possibly go wrong? Because I have to prepare for that worst case possibility. So what you are getting is a lot of worry and a lot of fear. And that monkey mind is going through all those alternatives. Now, way back when, I know some examples I personally had of the monkey mind and awfulizing. And unfortunately, it once again relates to the law. It's when I took the bar exam. Statistics, the odds were in my favor of passing it the first time. I went to UCLA, I took a bar review course. They said you have a very good chance of passing it. But you come out of that test, and it's a 3-day test, and you listen to the chatter of other people, and you go, "Ooh, I didn't say that. Ooh, I didn't see that issue. Oh no, I think I failed." And so you start awfulizing. Well, what's going to happen now? My employer said if I don't pass the first time, I'm out. I got a family. I'm married. I got 2 kids. What am I going to do? Okay, I can study again. I can take the review course. I'll get a different job. You go through all of this worry, angst, and anxiety. Well, I took the test in July, but you don't get the results until November. And it was the Monday before Thanksgiving, and I got the package. Opened it up, and it said I passed. Tears come to the eyes, very emotional. But then I realized something. I went through 5 months of agony and worry and awfulizing and anxiety as though I had not passed. I had all the same emotions, all the same feelings, like I was a failure. Okay, my bowling scores went up, but that was about the only good thing happening in my life. That awfulizing part of that monkey mind. I knew nothing about meditation, and even if I did, I told you I'm not a big practitioner of meditation, but I knew nothing about the concept of mindfulness. So perhaps I was part of that 80% of my thoughts were negative. Now, maybe you have and maybe you haven't experienced this monkey mind or worries, anxieties, fears. But that is you having your mind full of the negative, maybe that 80%. So that gets us now to the concept of, okay, I think we understand a little bit of what this monkey mind is, mindful. And now let's take a look. We've looked at some examples of the monkey mind. Let's take a look at the examples of being mindful. In everyday communication, maybe we're not awfulizing, maybe we're not having 80% of our thoughts being negative, but we're simply having a conversation with somebody. And a lot of times, we believe we're listening. Maybe like I was listening to that online course. I was also doing some other things. And a lot of times, not always in a conversation with somebody, they will say something, and we start thinking in our minds, ooh, that's interesting. I wonder if that's what the facts are. Gee, what am I going to say in response to that? What goes on in our mind is we are coming up with our reply to them. So suddenly, we're not 100% listening, because what's going on in our mind is, what am I going to say in return? Now, a month or so ago, I mentioned Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In that talk, I didn't get to any of the 7 habits, just got to the prelude of the book. But one of the habits is first seek to understand and then be understood. So, if we are practicing mindfulness in being present, listening to that person fully, and a technique there is to sometimes give feedback. Oh, what I hear you saying is blah, blah, blah. You repeat in your own words what you think you've heard. They have the opportunity to affirm it or say, no, 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 that's not quite it. That's known as active listening. There's also another technique where if you see the emotion in the person, you can validate their feelings. Well, I see that you're upset. That's a powerful listening technique because it's called empathic listening. You're identifying with their emotions and you're validating their emotions. So, what is being mindful? Well, according to the, according to Integrative Medicine, 4th edition, 2018, fairly recent, mindfulness is defined as the awareness that emerges by way of paying attention on purpose in the present moment and non-judgmentally to the unfolding of experience moment by moment. Okay, that's the medical definition. I think I understand it. I'm in the present moment, something's happened, and I'm not being judgmental. The Oxford Dictionary says it a little bit more simply. It says, mindful as focusing one's awareness on the present moment, especially as part of a therapeutic or meditative technique. Well, that is pretty clear to me. I'm in the moment, and it's part of a therapeutic or meditative technique. Now, like I said earlier, you read all of these different articles, and yeah, one way to get rid of that monkey mind is sure, you can meditate. Ernest Holmes talks about meditation. Science of Mind talks about meditation. All of the health benefits of meditation. Calming yourself, reducing anxiety, reducing stress. A lot of medical benefits come from meditation. Now, Science of Mind is also open at the top. And not the only way to calm your mind and avoid your fears is through meditation. There are other techniques. Science points out a technique that I found pretty interesting in having a mindfulness practice. And this is according to an article, 8 science-based tricks for quieting the monkey mind. Cognitive behavior therapy teaches a person to recognize the negative thought processes they fall back on, and then consciously create a new thought, one that's more based on reality, to replace it. So, as with meditation, there you're working to rewire the brain over time. Okay, that's science. Now I said to myself, erase the negative thought, become aware of it, erase the negative thought, and replace it. Well, I think that's right out of Ernest Holmes' textbooks. We erase the negative thought, and we replace it with a positive thought. That's standard operating procedure for religious scientists. And there's the golden key. Take your mind off the problem and put it on God. Science is calling it the cognitive behavior therapy. I guess we call it believing in spirit. because we're getting, not that we're denying those negative thoughts, but we're changing it. And then listen to what the science had to say. By erasing and replacing, we are rewiring our brains. Wow, what a powerful concept that is. If, as we quoted earlier, this 80% negative thought tends to be habitual or automatic, our brains like to be efficient, which means they like to repeat that over again because it's easier than creating a new thought. But once you create that new thought, you're rewiring the brain, and it now goes, oh, that's more efficient for me to think in a positive way. Oh, now isn't that exciting? Gee, we've heard the mantra, change your thinking, change your life. Science is backing it up, and science of mind is backing it up. Now, another technique on this mindfulness is, in all of these articles, 8 ways to do it, 5 ways to do it, but breathing tends to be a pretty powerful mindfulness technique. That if you're aware of the monkey mind going on, or you're aware of the negative thoughts, well, you can focus on your breathing. Now, I happened to attend on Monday the balance class taught by my wife, Monica, retired physical therapist, and Dana, is that her name? Dana, who's a yoga teacher. And I was there as the registrar, but I listened to some of the techniques that they were talking about, and Dana gets up there and says, okay, what I'd like you to do is raise your arm, and as you raise your arm, inhale. As you lower your arm, exhale. Oh, then you can inhale, turn your head to the right, exhale, and then do it again with the left side. But she says, now you are in the present moment. And now she's making the mind-body connection between breathing and your body. And so you are present in the moment, non-judgmentally. And that's part of the definition of being mindful. Now, Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk I referred to earlier in the same article, here's what he had to say. Breathing in, I am aware of my body. Breathing out, I'm aware of my body. I know my body is there. This brings the mind wholly back to the body. Mind and body become one reality. When your mind is with your body, you are well established in the here and the now. So, that's a technique that a number of these articles talk about, is becoming aware of your breath and your body, the mind-body connection. That tends to get your monkey mind closed down a little bit. Now, you can't always meditate in certain situations, but you can definitely practice mindfulness. Now, what caught my attention in the seminar I was taking online for my continuing legal education is they cited a mental health study from 2018 that being mindful was helping reduce relapses in addictive people with addictive disorders. And I said, wow, that's pretty powerful. We already know there are a lot of benefits from meditation, but there can also be these benefits from having a mindful practice. Now, like I said earlier, I personally, there's many paths to the mountaintop. Meditation just isn't my forte. But I like to believe that I practice mindfulness. I know a couple of examples that come to mind. When I'm driving, I'm in the moment. I'm not worried about getting to work or wherever I'm driving. I'm not in fear. I'm just aware of the circumstances around me and driving in a safe, competent manner. Now, I know that there are other drivers out there that I cannot control, but being aware of my circumstances and not being distracted by thinking about things in the past or what's going to happen in the future, I'm mindful of the tasks that I am doing. So if those stupid drivers, non-judgmental, if those blessed drivers are doing something out of the ordinary, I'm aware of it and I take an appropriate response to what they've done. And it's still keeping both of my hands on the wheel. I'm not making any gestures or honking the horn. I'm just taking care of myself. That's a mindful practice. I feel good about that. Reduces the anxiety, reduces all of that. So, and then the other thing is playing golf, which I always find fairly therapeutic, because if you're worried about the past or you're fearful of the future, you're not focusing on the shot right in front of you. So if I hit the ball out of bounds on my last shot, if I'm worried about that, I'm thinking about the past. No, I got to be in the moment. The shot at hand. I can't worry about what's coming up 2 holes ahead or how difficult the next hole might be. I'm being mindful. Now that can happen in any activity. If you see your thoughts are going, but you're washing the dishes, Thich Nhat Hanh says, well, focus on washing the dishes. Focus on peeling the onion. Focus, whatever task you're doing, go ahead and focus on it. Now, we also have a situation where these articles bring up that walking can be a walking meditation, which is really a mindfulness practice, which made me think. We have the Labyrinth once a month. Now it's the first Thursday of the month. A large tarp in the shape of a labyrinth is in Richelieu Hall. People take their shoes off and they walk it. And here's what Thich Nhat Hanh had to say about walking meditation. You don't have to make any effort during walking meditation because it is enjoyable. You are there, body and mind, together. You are fully alive, fully present to the here and now. With every step, you touch the wonders of life that are in, around you, and when you take every step brings you here. Joy, because every step is peace. Now, that's a heck of a consciousness. Now, Jane Zumbrau is the facilitator of the Labyrinth, and Reverend Kathy does the meditation, a short meditation for 15 minutes or so. But if you get these benefits from a walking meditation, you are clearing your mind, you're in the present moment, you're having health benefits, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people start attending the labyrinth because it is a great exercise in mindfulness. So, we've looked at mindful. We've looked at mindful, one word. It's not a nuance. I think there is a significant difference in the two. So, I can only encourage you, get that monkey not only off your back, but out of your mind. Stop monkeying around and just go ape with the practice of mindfulness. So I guess I could say that's the truth from Ruth, and so it is. So now is, thank you. So now is time that we give back to the center and we share our blessings. So Ruthie, are you here? Yeah, we can do the prayer. I got it someplace. Okay. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive, I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Now, we still have a few minutes, so if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those questions if I'm capable. I forgot to mention a couple other techniques, science of mind techniques for taking care of the monkey mind, and articles, scientific articles have pointed it out. One is prayer treatment, right? That focuses not on what we don't want, but focuses on what we do want. And another is just how we respond to circumstances, whether we're just emotionally reacting or are we non-judgmentally thinking of our actions and consequences. So, with that in mind, any questions from anybody? No? Okay, we're good on mindful and mindful. Yes? Okay, well, thank you very much. It was very enjoyable seeing you all today.